We saw a very impressive performance by Hero, who is starting to the right side of dual side in the last map. We had a very unique army composition for our Protoss player from Team Liquid. It was just a great play by
Liquid Hero.
And now he's up against his opponent, against the Startail Zerg Curious, once again, this time on dual side. A very small map, a two-player map, where we've seen a lot of all-ins in the past on two bases, especially Roach Ling or Roach Baneling are very, very strong, but recently has evolved a bit. Most Zerg players try to take a third. We'll see if
Startail Curious
is trying to play two-base timing attack or getting into the economy mode, into the macro mode, where he tries to get a third and defend it. So Hero will have to scout what exactly is going on in the main base of his opponent, but also very, very important for Curious to just see what's going to happen. And we have a little bit of an early pool here.
Yeah.
A 12 pool for Curious. The 12 pool just forces Hero to get some of his buildings a bit early. He can't go for Forge into Expand right away. He needs to get the cannon out a bit earlier. And
Hero, he's going for...
he doesn't even get a Forge.
No, he does not. He's going for a very older style build.
Which reminds me a bit of the game that we've seen yesterday.
We saw 4-gate yesterday from our Protoss player Seed, and we may see that again here from Hero. I don't think so, but with the positioning of a second pylon there, it's a great place to hide gateways. Only time will tell when he gets a second gas, or if he gets a second gas.
We elaborated yesterday already on how the meta game evolved in PvZ in the past, with the Protoss players just relying more and more on the Forge first play in order to get the economy and the lead over the Zerg player. But with the Zergs getting just a good hang on how the timings work, they are now able to defend against it. And these early gateways enable Protoss to be a little bit more aggressive in the early game. And even go for the extreme, going for 4-gate once again, which is still a great strategy, especially when you don't expect it.
Yep. Right now, Curious's win rate versus Protoss is actually a little bit higher. You can see here the Hero CG that we have up on the screen shows that his win rate in 2012 is a little bit better than his win rate in 2011. He hasn't showed that many games either way, since he's kind of a newer player to the GSL, but even so, it's a pretty impressive new record. It looks like he's really turned things around, you could say. The slow Zerglings are actually going to get in here and scout the second gas.
This is something that should not happen. We had the same problem yesterday in the game with Seed and Boom Boom. Boom Boom could not stop the push of his opponent, but now we already have Curious with the scouting information that he at least needs to get some idea of what's happening here, so he can prepare to this accordingly. He's just droning up right now, relying on his two bases. Didn't even try to get the third base at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And Hero getting a bit aggressive right now. He skipped the Zealot and is now just starting with his first two Stalkers, getting a third one and trying to put at least some pressure onto the drones of Curious.
Yeah, this is very old school. When you go for a early pool, or basically just any build, hatch first or early pool with no gas first, if you go for a gateway build, you can actually sometimes even kill queens if they get too eager. You can kill a lot of Zerglings, even overlords. You can just do so much damage early on to your opponent's economy. That's exactly what he's going to do here. He may even scare his opponent with a pylon. And there he is. He's actually going to do this. Now, if he wants, he can actually warp in units from 2 gateways to harass. This is actually so cool. I really like this. He's forcing so many Zerglings. He's going to kill the queen. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is actually how I play PvZ. And I just really like to see players doing this in the GSL. It's so old school.
Curious makes a huge mistake here. He always attacks with 1 or 2 Zerglings and does not wait for the rest of them. So this is definitely a little bit of a misstep here with his unit control. He does not have speed, and this is what Hero relies on. Without the speed, it's going to be so hard to actually take down these Stalkers. One of the Stalkers still able to retreat. The unit control by Hero is excellent here.
It always is, man. I'm so happy to see this type of build. Curious may clean up this last Stalker now, but no. Good control. With no Zergling speed, this could go on. In fact, if he had kept that pylon alive and warped in units, he's going to lose these Stalkers now when speed finishes. But if he had kept warping in units with that pylon instead of cancelling it, the game might have just ended.
And speed is now about to be done. Will the Stalkers be able to escape? They should not be. Here we go. And will Curious be able to catch them? He already is trying to cut off the path of retreat. Takes down every single one of them.
Yep. Stargate on the way, as well as a Forge for Hero. He's gonna be hard pressed to defend this Nexus, but with that many sentries with Force Field, he should be fine.
Hero tried to be a little bit too greedy here. He did a ton of damage, but he should have retreated a little bit earlier with his units to save the Stalkers as well. Losing them is definitely a misstep, and this is just something that you need to realize about the timings. Protoss players and just StarCraft players in general are so aware of the upgrade timings, especially when it comes down to the Warp Gate upgrade, to the speed upgrade for the Zerg player, for example, or Stim for Terran. And usually this is something that they have down cold, but we had Hero just misjudging the timing for speed a tiny little bit, and therefore he loses these Stalkers, which is really important. And at the same time, Curious is now aware of the Stargate. He knows about the transition that's going to happen now.
He is making the hatchery regardless, and he needs to start spreading creep in that direction. As you can see, he's already doing that, but with the loss of that queen early on, his creep is not as far forward as he would have liked. So this is kind of scary because with that many sentries and a Void Ray, he may be able to kill that hatchery. All is going to come down to control. If he loses any of these sentries, he's not going to be able to do it, that's for sure. He's actually going to go ahead and attack the third, looks like with just his Void Ray and Rally Phoenixes behind it.
Pretty standard here. Well, we have the Lair Tech for Curious and a finished Evolution Chamber, so he can start with Spore Crawlers.
With no Lair, you know, Hero has a lot, with no Roach Warren, Hero has a lot of opportunity to pressure here with his sentries, but he knows that with that many Zerlings out on the map, he might just lose too many probes to a counterattack, so he's going to be patient and use only the Void Ray here. But because he's waiting and using only the Void Ray, the creep is pretty close, the queens are already there, and he's not going to be able to do anything with this pressure with this Stargate.
Now, the opening for Hero also means that most of the usual timings that you have are completely redundant, so at this point it just doesn't help Curious at all. This is something that he has to kind of anticipate right now. It's not something that can completely rely on the timings that you're used to. You have to just judge situations as how they come. We have now the Spore Crawlers coming up, and Hero already with the Twilight Council, so he can start with the +2 attack upgrade. We can see him go for a Blink upgrade, and there it is. Well, the Void Ray is now into position, lured into a fight. Uh-oh! The queens are being attacked. He could use the Graviton Beam.
He's going to avoid it because of the Spore Crawler, though. He wants to fight away from it. Even so, those 3 queens may push this Void Ray back and kill it.
Oh my god, misstep here by Hero. Losing the Void Ray is huge, but at the same time, one of the queen goes down.
Yep, and with another Phoenix in here, he should be able to kill these other 2 queens as well. Both of them lifted, no transfuses able to be used. And he will kill all of the queens.
Needs another Graviton Beam, but then the queen will be done for. Does not have the energy, there it is.
And it's more queens being produced. He's got a Hydra Den on the way because without it, he might just die to Phoenixes. That is going to be the end of this Phoenix pressure.
I actually prefer, when it comes down to just repelling Phoenixes, I'm a huge fan of Infestors in combination with Queens, which is something that is really helpful. The problem that you have with Hydras, well, we've seen another Queen dying, is that Hydralistic small numbers are actually really bad against Phoenixes because Phoenixes deal extra damage against Hydralistic.
He's going to kill another Queen. Curious actually totally botching this.
This is way too much damage dealt by a Hero here. You're completely right, Wolf.
Yeah, now he only has 1 queen and he has no answer for these. And even with 7 Hydralisks, 7 Hydralisks are going to pop out one at a time and they will die unless he uses all of his energy on these even after seeing the Hydralisk Den. So I'm a little bit disappointed by Hero in that regard. But
this is snowballing right now.
Yeah, he's killing more Overlords. He is so ahead right now.
He lost a ton of resources, not only all these queens, but at the same time the overlords. And the queens are, of course, the more important part as he can't use the injects now. But more and more overlords being attacked. The Hydra is trying to put a stop to the Harris. But at this time we already have the supply blocked Zerg player. So Startail Curious is in some trouble and has to heavily commit to his Hydra play now, even researching the range upgrade.
Oh, losing a lot of sentries here though.
I really don't like this. Hero played beautiful up to this point, but being caught off guard here by the Roaches of his opponent, he's losing way too many sentries. But he's still kind of ahead in this game. He's taking a 3rd base, but the Roaches come in. Will Hero be able to defend it?
Good force field so far.
The Roaches are facing a huge amount of Stalkers now. And of course also the Phoenixes that it can still use their Graviton Beam if enough energy is available.
Man, I feel like Hero kind of botched the end of his Phoenix reign. He could have killed all those Hydras and then gotten out. He lost a few Phoenixes on his way back and then struggled to deal with the Roach pressure, but despite all of those small mistakes, his play looks almost flawless. And he is so ahead right now. He's got a 3rd base up and running. He's killed enough roaches to where he can defend it very easily. His opponent doesn't have any mute attack or any drop tech or any nidus tech, any way to pressure him except directly attacking him, which is something that Hero's already prepared for. And at this stage, with Blink and this many sentries still alive, he should be able to defend against any type of pressure he encounters. A nice split attack, though, from Curious, and he's actually not going to split up. He's going to try to attack all at once at the same location. Now he's going to go for the third that he's been cut off.
That was I really like this decision by Hero here, but he needs to make sure that he's getting into the third. He's trying to buy some time with those units that he has available, the 3 Stalkers that just died, but now we have the rest of the army for Hero joining the battle, and he needs to be very careful here.
A lot of hesitation from Hero. Now he's going to lose a lot of Stalkers and his third base.
Yes, now he's completely cut off, and this gives Curious the time that he needs to focus down the expansion.
And with a Blink forward, he's going to lose a lot of Stalkers too.
But now with the Colossus in the picture, all these Hydralisks are about to die.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't target that Colossus, because that's not enough room.
This timing for Curious was actually awesome. I really like that Hero chose to blink in and force the rest of the army to the left side, so he took care of the first few roaches that attacked his natural, waited for the force fields to disappear. But the problem that he had was that his Stalker count was not big enough to deal with the roaches and the Hydralisks. He had to wait for this one Colossus in order to deal with the Hydralisks. Yeah. And at this point, his third base was already down. It was not really a problem of Hero microing his units badly, but just the timing for Curious being just chosen so perfectly well that he could take down the third base before the Colossus arrived.
The timing was so important because, I mean, even Curious's control wasn't as good as it could have been. If he had attacked in 2 locations straight away, he would have lost the third base no matter what. But instead, he kind of allowed Hero to force him into 2 groups. And like I mentioned right before this game even started, it's almost impossible for Pros to take a third base on this map because this type of attack is so easy to execute. He could have attacked from the 9 o'clock position and gone around that side and then gone up to the north and attacked the third base. Instead, he just kind of got split by force field and he was like, alright, fine, I'll kill your base in this way. It's so easy for a Zerg to attack the third base on this map. But now Hero has good tech. He has Colossi take out before the Spire is done, and that's something that's really good. A sandwich move coming in here for Curious, though, and the force fields are delayed. Burrow movement, moving the roaches on top of the Colossus.
It's going to be really hard for Hero to hold. Yeah, he's losing way too many units. The Colossus is already dead, and these roaches going to town, taking out the Immortal, did a ton of damage. But is it enough? It looks like it, especially with the second one coming into play now. Another aggressive blink by Hero kills a few of these remaining roaches for Curious. And Curious, he really needs to do damage here. He's ahead in supply, but 3 bases still available for Hero once again, while the Zerg is taking another base to the bottom right. We have Curious now, also with a +1 attack upgrade at Aspire.
I'm loving Curious's position here. I loved his choice to trade there, because the one problem for him was the Colossi. He's like, oh, well, I have a Spire, but I haven't been able to use it yet. Now he's getting +1 of this Spire. He's bought time, he pushed his opponent back, and even though the supply deficit is better for Hero than it was before, after that trade, he just does not have that beefy Colossus unit that he needs. And Curious can continue to attack here. Dark Shrine is on the way, as well as +3. That Dark Shrine will allow him to harass.
Look at the transition that Curious is using right now. He's not going for Corruptors in order to deal with the Colossi, he's going for Mutalisks. And these Mutalisks are something that at this point Hero is apparently not expecting. His main base will be so vulnerable.
He keeps using these force fields against himself. Yeah. In fact, if Curious had actually gone and targeted the Nexus, he would have killed it. He's actually just going to pick off some Zealots and Sentries instead and get out.
But the Mutalisks are in the game now, and if he attacks the main base, he might be able to do so much damage. I don't think there are cannons in the mineral lines at the main.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, this is a good blink forward here. He's going to lose a lot of his Stalkers, though, which is exactly what Curious wants. And he's totally out of position because here come the Mutas into the main base.
They just arrived and they take down a ton of these Harvesters. He can't actually kill... He doesn't even kill the cannon. There's one cannon, but this is the only thing. He targets down cannons and Stalkers now alike, but there are too many Stalkers already. He doesn't blink, though. He doesn't micro his units. Hero, that is. But he took down most of the units of his opponent, still with a 50 supply lead for StarCraft Curious, who has 1,400 minerals banked up, but Hero is losing now the Harvesters in his main base. Nice attack here by Curious, doing a good job taking down the Stalkers, and he has still more Mutalisks than his opponent, as Stalkers defending his main base.
Oh, this is a tough attack to defend, though. If he's going to have to get a perfect Zerling surround, but there are a lot of energy on those sentries. Here we go! Force fields are missed! He misses the force fields. The Mutas will clean up all the Stalkers, and it looks like Hero will be defended here quite easily with more Mutalisks coming back.
That's way too many Mutalisks. This is something that he can't deal with.
No, he cannot.
This is simply too much. All these Stalkers trying to escape, but they're being taken down. We still have the DTs in the play.
I think he's warped them in. I think they're in the middle of the map right now. Yeah, he hasn't used them just yet. There they are. And he wants to go and attack this base. There's no detection over here, so you may be able to just target that down.
He may be able to kill the fourth, but we have more and more Mutalisks being built right now, and this is completely spinning out of control. Hero will have such a tough time to deal with those Mutalisks.
Yep. And I think this game is basically over. He does not have enough Stalkers. He's losing the Stalkers he does have. Zerglings right now.
It's going to be really, really tough. With a 70 supply lead and all these minerals and gas banked up for Curious, it's going to be tough for Hero to hold and succeed here. Curious is doing an awesome job building more and more Mutalisks. Already has 27. Is getting the +2 attack upgrade. Focusing down the Nexus at the second. At least he tries to. And once again catching those Stalkers out of position. He's actually just trying to fight. I'm not quite sure if this is the best decision.
I like it because he's going to trade really efficiently here. There's more Zerglings under there that you can barely even see. It looks like this DT has cleaned up the majority of them now, but he actually wins this fight. But even if he didn't, he just trades so well, and he's just going to win this fight, and therefore the game. The Archon will be killed before it can even morph.
He killed a ton of Mutalisks here. At this point, I don't feel that it really matters anymore, but I really would have loved him to wait a little bit longer before he engaged his opponent. He did a fair amount of damage, but still he lost a lot of Mutalisks as well. He's trying to get a fourth base again, by the way, at the right side of the map, right below the base of his opponent, the main base that is. 20 Mutalisks now, only 7 Stalkers left, and with the help of the Zerglings at the ground, this should finish the game.
Yeah, he's going to lose too many probes here. He's actually targeting down the Nexus. The Overseer is there. This base is protected. He takes out the natural Nexus. No more mining there.
We have 5 DTs on the map.
4 of them just got morphed into 2 Archons, and the last DT there is seen on screen. He needs to be careful with those Archons, though, because if he loses all of his Zerglings and his Mutas, he'll be in a tough spot. But he's now completely unpowered. The Zerglings will spot the Archons. He will be able to get the Mutas out in time. He's actually going to go for the Dark Shrine. Wants to get rid of that.
He kills the Dark Shrine, he kills a ton of pylons as well. With the Archons out of position, he can out-focus down some of these Stalkers as well. He don't has all of the Mutalisks in the top right. He has still a few of them assembled at the bottom. There they are. And, well, this is looking so great for Curious. Hero is not dead yet, but he is about to die if he doesn't come up with a genius solution.
Yeah, he is in an almost unwinnable position from here with the supply. And he's been able to do, like I said earlier, he and Huck, they both their Protosses, both names start with H, and both of them are great at turtling, but he's made a few critical mistakes in this game now, and Curious, it's all in his hands. It's Curious's game to lose at this point because Hero, even if he plays perfectly, just cannot produce what Curious can. He's actually going to transfer all of his drones over that base. He'll be a little bit oversaturated there. He's remaking the base at the bottom right, though. And as soon as that's up, he's going to have a killer economy. He may even tech Degrader Spire. He may get Ultralisk out. I don't think Ultralisk would be the right choice in this case, but you know, it's going to be hard for him to make a transition in composition because he's maxed right now. His opponent has a pretty decent composition against both of those Hive techs, but it's just, he can't be everywhere at once. Curious is going to kill the production now.
And
there's roaches.
With the Archons in the picture right now, Curious stopped building too many Mutalisks. He started to build roaches again, and these roaches, as soon as they snipe the Archons, suddenly the Lings and the Mutalisks will be so much better once again against this combination. But you just mentioned it, Hero can't be everywhere at once. He can't put pressure onto his opponent and defend his main base. It's just not possible. He's spread out too thinly, and he does not have the numbers.
Yep. And he's going to try to catch these Mutas with a blink forward, perhaps.
The main base is completely dying now.
Yeah, the main base is totally shut down. He has no more production. He's even going to lose his Nexus, which will further supply block him. He is going to try to take out this base, which has been made so aggressively towards his. And he'll be able to get it. The Zerglings are actually going to go try and defend this.
He's going to lose this base, get targeted down by the Stalkers. Actually, he's able to defend it as now he's backing off. And here we go. The Archon is being sniped. They are down, the Lings come in, and so do the Roaches. This is going to be GG by Hero. Curious, he takes the second game, forces game number 3. Yep, awesome.
Some
This-
awesome games so far today, man.
Yeah, this matchup and these two players, really, they deserve a third game. I really love it. And we are able to show you a third game between Hero and Curious. This is exactly what this series deserves, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. We saw a great opening from Hero, very old school, very unique for today's day and standards. Going for a Stalker, aggression, even faking a pylon, trying to scare his opponent, forced a lot of units. Then made a third base that he defended okay. I feel like the map, though, was really the reason why he couldn't defend that third base. It was just, I mean, this map is so difficult to defend. He used his force fields against himself several times. He force fielded units away, and then Curious was like, yeah, well, I was just going to attack your third. He's like, that's fine. He's like, now you can't stop me from killing your third base. And then he did it again.
And let's just come back a little bit to the opening that we've seen. We had this awesome attack by Hero with these Stalkers, but let's just assume for a moment that he would have been able to save these 3 Stalkers. Suddenly he would have been in such a good position, and well, I think that he would have been able to save his Nexus, and if the third base that is, and if the Nexus survives at the third base because he has a higher Stalker count at this point and can actually try to snipe down a few additional units, then suddenly Hero is in a position where he can win the game. But rebuilding this Nexus cost him a lot of, well, he lost resources for once. He lost a lot of time that he could have spent mining as well. So definitely something where he can a little bit improve if he realizes when exactly he has to pull off his few Stalkers that are attacking on this map because speed is about to hit. Then he's able to save them, and this will put Curious in a much worse situation. So definitely something where they can refine the build a little bit.
Yeah.
But this game was just so exciting. I really loved what we saw on dual side.
Curious showed great unit composition choices as well. He kind of molded the game to the way he wanted it to be, like it was a clay that he was trying to make a sculpture or something. Starts out with Roach, Hydro Pressure, switches into Mutas, switches back into Roaches. Great timings with all of those transitions, and Hero just could not keep up with them. Our final map will be Hero's choice, and of course, it's Entombed Valley.
Yes, it has to be. It has to be Entombed Valley. Protoss players today really love this map in the matchup against Zerg. And we'll see what Curious is going to do. It's not going to be easy.
No,
He's facing Hero, fan favorite. We have the Team Liquid player.
See what strategy he's got in mind for this map. I think we'll probably see a long game from both of these players. We could see Ultralisk, Broodlords, Motherships, anything on this map. Find out who will take the third and final game to join Maru in the winners match here at the GSL Codes. This is Group D with Wolf and Kaldor. Don't go anywhere, we're in the game now.